Make a plan in order for you to execute these things. If not, you're never going to change. And if you don't change, then you're the one that's going to be very angry or disappointed in your life. You can't do that. You can't stay stuck. This is something that you know that you shouldn't be doing, and you owe this to yourself, and you owe this to others for you to get back to your true self. Welcome back, everyone. This is Carlos Irizarry from Grow to Elite Academy. This is the second iteration of the video series, Roadmap Back to Self. In this series, we will be looking at assessment and execution of your roadmap. You must start off in assessing your life in order for you to understand where you're at and where you need to go. Through this, what you can do is create a assessment page for yourself, which has different areas of your life. These areas could be career, health, fitness, mental, physical. In these areas, you want to break these down into more categories in your life. The more you break them down, the better understanding you will have and where the breakdown is and why you're not attaining what you need to attain in those areas. Once you do that, you want to prioritize which areas are the most important first. So you identify the most important areas first, then to the least. Everyone is a little bit different. Some people will be more towards health. Some people will be more towards the mental side, etc. You identify these areas and then you prioritize them, either 1 through 5, 1 through 10, depending on how many areas you have in your life. Once you do that, you start asking difficult questions. What am I doing wrong in these areas? What am I doing right in these areas? So when you look at the areas of what you're doing right, your strengths, then you ask yourself, okay, well, how can I connect this strength to help out in the negative side of the area? Sometimes you won't have a positive side, but sometimes you will. Most of the time, we always look at the negative side, and some of these things will be more towards negative than positive, and that's okay. You have to have a starting point, and it's okay. You will be able to have a clearer picture of where to start. Doing that, you will have your initial assessment in order for you to start doing your execution plan. When you've completed your assessment, you may have some feelings of overwhelm. That's normal. It's okay to feel overwhelmed and seeing the amount of work that you may have to do, but that's okay. The initial step is already completed. You've already completed your assessment. Now you have to take the step to start identify where you want to start at. And as I stated, you want to prioritize the areas that you feel that are the most important. When you start doing this, you may have areas of stumbling blocks. And these stumbling blocks, when these do happen, you just need to continue one step at a time. It's okay to have some backtracks in your journey. It's okay. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Like I told you before, this has been a journey for me for over 5 years. So it's taken me some time to really install these habits that needed to be installed in my life. However, your assessment, as the assessment is completed, you should have somewhat of a relief that you have some clarity. However, that clarity may be short-lived because you see the amount of work that may have to be done, but that's okay. Just look at one area at a time. As that happens, you want to reassess yourself on a weekly basis and on a monthly basis. If you don't reassess yourself, what happens is you tend to stray off the path. And if you don't give yourself the time to review where you're at and where you're going, then what happens is you say to yourself, okay, how did I get here? I did my assessment, but it's not where I'm at. It's because you're not looking and reviewing your actions on a weekly and a monthly basis. I've created a blank assessment form for you guys to have more structure so you don't have to create it yourself. It's a self-explanatory form. All you have to do is fill in the information and you will have your actual assessment completed for yourself. Click on the link below and you'll have access to it. Now that you know how the brain works, we can go into how to execute specific things. Your assessment is complete. We have to understand two things. What are your standards and what are your values? These two things will drive everything to what change needs to happen. And through change, I mean habits. Habits are paramount for you to change your behavior and change how your brain works. That is the fastest way to make change. When this happens, you will see change in yourself. Habits do everything that is needed for your brain with less restriction, and that's what you want. As you establish your standards and values, this will coincide with your habits. Creating those habits will make sure that you will be on the right track to get back to yourself. Once this happens, then you will see the massive change in you. It may take a little bit of time, but you have to stay consistent. You have to be patient with yourself. When you don't stay consistent and be patient with yourself, then that's where the trouble starts and you'll be stuck again. Just be cordial to yourself. It is not easy, but through time and through execution, you will be able to do that. So just keep that in mind. Once you have these habits that are needed in whatever area you want to change, then you should use the stacking method in order for you to add new habits on top of each other. It makes it easier for you to change because the brain connects these habits to each other. So it makes it much easier to execute these things. Make sure that these habits are beneficial for you. There's going to be some habits that you're going to have to break that are not useful for you because you're on autopilot. We don't want to stay on autopilot. You need to consistently be aware of what's going on in your brain. And until you are able to create these good habits where then it's autopilot, but it's a good habit. Once you do this, you will start seeing massive change. I'll just give you a quick rundown of what I do. This was something that was initiated years ago and I still do it. And it is less of a friction point for me because it's a habit now, but I had to stack these habits. What I do is I wake up every day at a specific time. I'll have my lemon water, about a liter of water to hydrate myself. Once that's done, I'll take a walk. When I come back from my walk, I will have some celery juice. Once I have my celery juice, I'll do some meditation. After my meditation, I will do some reading. After I do my reading, that's basically I start the day off. These things have massively helped me. Taking walks is huge. That is a habit that helps you become aware of your surroundings. We tend to be oblivious of our surroundings, so you definitely want to do that. If you're having difficulty focusing on things like I do, you want to be aware, do things that are going to help you with your awareness. Meditation is a great thing. You can do guided meditation, regular meditation. These are all things that you can do. So summing up on that, these are the elements that you need to understand: your standards, your values, and your habits. All of these coincide with each other. So make a plan in order for you to execute these things. If not, you're never going to change. And if you don't change, then you're the one that's going to be very angry or disappointed in your life. You can't do that. You can't stay stuck. This is something that you know that you shouldn't be doing, and you owe this to yourself, and you owe this to others for you to get back to your true self. If you got value from this video, please share, subscribe, and like.